Kia ora, g'day, welcome back here with another question. I'll just grab it off my phone here. This has come through from one of the SAS selection Q&A videos. I think the first one that I put up as part of this, I suppose, ongoing series, we'll call it. This one here, it's in the comment section. Hey Joe, not selection question, but more of a curiosity. Once in the unit, how are your views taken within the unit? What I mean by that is your ideas, suggestions, and views on things. As an example, I'd imagine debriefs are conducted after training sessions, etc. Yes, they are. How would your input on things be taken by more senior soldiers, even if an idea you suggest is valid and a better procedure? Are they dismissive, or is every idea taken on board, etc.? Maybe a question for a future video. Cheers. Cool question. I think by and large, for the most part, my experience, any ideas, thoughts, comments that come through after either in training or in operations, debrief wise, taken and listened. They're at least listened to. What I experienced though, and what I saw is that the soldiers that are in those senior positions, so your patrol commanders, your 2ICs, the senior operators that are in your teams, pretty hard pressed for a new soldier to come in my experience, my observation, and maybe it's just me, but going in there and then going through the whole process from where to go, from the warning order to the orders to the execution of the task, whether that's in training or on jobs, and then coming back and then doing the debrief after that. Everything leading up to it, the rationale all makes sense. Didn't mean that the plan and that the orders went perfectly as prescribed, but all the rationale in regards to why we were going to be doing things, why we were positioning ourselves here, why we would be looking to approach a certain target or something like that from this area, etc., all made sense, because that's stuff when you're paying attention and listening to the orders, and when you can see the mud map and the model, and you have an understanding of the intelligence based on what has been used to help formulate that plan that they're presenting to the team members, new members and older heads alike. It was pretty clear to see the reasons why you would do it that way. Then on the debrief, to your question, to your points, what did you say? What I mean by that is your ideas and suggestions, they're open to. Like senior operators, my experience, what I saw, they will take time, listen to what it is that you have to say. They will question you and ask you, oh, why do you think that is? Or how would that apply here? What if this happened? Like there'll be those sorts of conversations. But my take, my experience, my observation is that they'll take on board and listen to what it is. Like everybody has a voice at the table at the end of the day, is what I'm trying to say in a nutshell. So there's that piece. As an example, I'd imagine debriefs are conducted. Yes. How would your input on things be taken by more senior soldiers? Input would be taken by senior soldiers. They would listen to it. Like I said, they would hear you out, hear what you have to say, and then ask you questions. Some might view it as being challenged on it. It's just asking questions so that it can be clear in their head. So same way as a senior operator or a junior operator, when you're sitting in those briefs and in those orders, and they're giving you instruction, you want it to be as clear as you can have it in your head, in your mind, in your mind's eye, so that when you get out on the ground and you are conducting the things that you need to do, and or based on the orders, you are in position and ready to do what you're supposed to do, you can either do that thing and or you can justify why you may have had to pivot and change and or do something slightly different or do something completely different. So hopefully that makes sense. How would you input me to take my things? Yep, even if an idea you suggest is valid or a better procedure. I don't think I personally haven't provided a better idea or a better procedure to the teams that I've been lucky enough to work and serve with. And as a junior soldier, or even as a more senior soldier, would your input be taken by the senior soldiers if an idea you suggest is valid or better? In terms of ideas, though, if they're valid and they seem like a good idea, not necessarily a better procedure, they would take those on board. Like that's been my experience. By and large, when you're a new person into the teams, or at least for me, I'll speak for myself. When I was like the new guy in the team, I was still pretty much in awe of the guys that I was working with. Like they were great guys, good human beings, good listeners, good communicators, great operators, and I was just couldn't be happier. So I didn't have, I didn't feel like I had many tweaks or suggestions to improve things or make things better, because what I was already learning and observing. And I think that's an important part when you're coming into anywhere, not just a unit like that. Like, be open, be flexible enough, be adaptable, be willing to question stuff, which is cool. I was able to do that. But I didn't feel like I had any new and great ideas on, in terms of, how we're going to breach this wall, and what type of explosive do we use on that, what type of shape charge should we put on there, when they've already got the tried, tested, and proven methods that work here on the 747 airframe. As an example, here, this is what happens on these double bricks, on these double brick walls, etc., etc. Like, the tried, tested methods were already there, if that makes sense. And it wouldn't be until you have more time in the saddle, and or you start to, my opinion, really delve into it, become a specialist in that space, that you'll be exposed to a lot more, where guys would get sent to, and I never got to that stage, but guys would get sent away to the UK, to the US, do long looks, do 2-year exchanges, and be embedded there with other SF units, and really start to hone in on certain things and information and knowledge, which they could then bring back to the unit. So pretty hard pressed, I would imagine, to find and or come across fresh new guys coming into a unit, or coming into the unit and into a patrol, and having fantastic ideas that are better than the current procedures. It could happen, and maybe it happens to this day. It could very well happen. Not saying that it can't. It just didn't during my time. And that wasn't through lack of trying either, especially when I was the MOE guy for a while. Um, Looking at and paying attention to, why would we be breaching things that way? How could we, what could be an alternative in terms of methods of primary fails, and what's the secondary, what's the tertiary, etc. So there's lots of that sort of stuff, and trying to problem solve and anticipate problems, and then trying to problem solve, either prior to, and or ultimately, like a lot of the stuff happens from time to time, having a problem solve on the job in the moment. So did I get through your question? Hopefully I'm answering um, well enough, or covering off on as much as what I've got running through my head, as it pertains, at least to me, my interpretation of your question. Uh, Valid, better procedure. Are they dismissive? No. So, or is every idea taken on board, etc.? So, probably not every idea taken on board, but as I mentioned, everybody's voice would be heard. So, if you've got an idea, if you've got a suggestion, whatever it is, I never found the guys that I worked with, I never found them to be dismissive. Um, yeah, super attentive, and like, you got to understand, the guys in the unit are always wanting to improve as well. I don't think I ever met a guy. This is just me. Now, there may be some guys in there, maybe some other people have met some people that they thought Blinken knew everything. But during my time, I don't think I ever came across a guy that was serving in the regiment in Australia who thought or acted like he knew it all. Maybe he did when I wasn't around, or maybe I just didn't see the person in full, because I wasn't with everybody 24/7, whilst they're at work. Maybe I think there's probably guys that you look at when they're instructing and teaching certain things, that you just know, like, this guy knows his subject matter. This guy knows what he's talking about. This guy has been through it. He's sharing relevant experiences applicable to that particular weapon system, to that particular tactic or strategy, that particular piece of equipment, why we're doing things that way or this way, or what we've learnt from, and how the unit and how the patrols have evolved from how they used to do it here to what they do now, to what they discovered and now they've implemented and adapted this, etc., etc. So it's in my opinion, my observation, my experience, it's a continuation of that. And I would no doubt imagine that there's been so many more lessons learned after 20 years of the global war on terror, that Australia, New Zealand, US, everybody, all the coalition forces, including the Afghans and the Al Qaeda and Taliban, their lessons that they've learned, that they will be implementing and iterating within their space. So, yeah, definitely, I didn't come across any dismissiveness when ideas, like genuine ideas, like if somebody has just been, cheeky or whatever, then yeah, like guys will just pull the piss out of each other and dismiss one another and like just rip into each other, sort of thing. Like with words and blank, and they're pretty sharp and quick witted over there in Australia. Mind you, in saying that, some of the Poms and the Kiwis aren't too bad themselves as well. Some guys, not everybody. I think my take and my experience, Australians were pretty quick, off sharp tongue with regards to comebacks, is what I noticed anyway. And yeah, so from that perspective, it might be seen as being dismissive to other people, but I never saw it that way. Like, you can pretty much tell when somebody's got a genuine concern or idea or something that they want to try to get across, because they want to try to make things better or try to get a better understanding. And then you can tell when somebody's just having a bit of a laugh, and the lighthearted, joking humor of it, and the nature of that environment. So hopefully that helps. Yeah, it is a great question. Yeah, I think I'll leave that one there. There are some other questions, but I'll do those in another follow-up so that this hopefully doesn't take too long. But thanks for the question, bro. And yeah, if there's any more questions, keep sending them through. I'll do my best to answer them as well as I can. And we'll see you on the next video.